Let me tell you something from hard-learned experience. Most of you are likely to lose money in this crypto cycle. Now, I know people are saying this quite commonly these days, right? But guys, I cannot stress it enough. There is a very, very good chance you are not going to make any money in this bull run. Every dollar you put into the market is wasted away. Let me ask you right away, were you someone that bought Hedera H-bar on the recent pump, but bought it somewhere around the current prices? Did you do the same thing with Cardano? Did you buy anything higher than 80 cents? Or Polkadot? I mean, hell, some of you guys had to for the price to go that high. Are you sitting there with these coins right now, a little bit stressed, thinking, come on, do something, move? Other coins in the market now are starting to wake up. Why aren't you moving? I bought you because you were moving. Now, nothing's happening. You, my friend, you are the person I need to seriously get to watch this video. For you, this is you possibly ignoring it and wasting away all your money in the next 12 months, or you watching this and actually making some sort of return to be proud of. Because if you're looking right now on CoinMarketCap and you're scrolling through the top 100 and thinking, oh gosh, these coins I've just purchased here are not moving, where's the next movers? If you're going to page God knows what, 50, 60, and into the deep, dark depths of the crypto market caps, and you're finding some small, tiny coin to have to 100x to make up possibly some of the gains that you're going to end up selling here because you bought these coins on the pumps, then again, this video is important for you to watch because I cannot stress it enough. You've got to understand, crypto works in narratives. Money moves, money flows. We don't all just magically go up with Bitcoin. If that were the case, all crypto all-time highs would happen with Bitcoin's all-time highs, and that is not the case. Some of you seem to think that these price predictions for these coins and the market caps, therefore, have to all happen at the same time. No, that already is you stepping into the wrong direction to begin with. What happens is crypto works in cycles, right? The overall cycle that we know of, the 4-year cycle, well, within the 4-year cycle, there are mini cycles. And these mini cycles, as I've shown you guys, are actually called narratives. These are the niches that a project is known for. Render is an AI deep-in project, but primarily it's known as an AI project. That's its narrative. That's what it's known for. And like I said, these all go up and down at different times, and the interest levels increase and drop off, of course, at different times. This can also be identified as what's called mind share, or basically how much interest is in that particular area at a given time. And it's at these times when the narrative pump is on and when all eyes in the crypto space is looking towards that particular area, flocking in new cash and interest, when these coins have their all-time highs. All-time highs in the case of Solana and the case of Avalanche happen within a few weeks of each other. If you look at a coin like Hedera, for example, you click all over here, you can see they have these massive spikes. That is what we're talking about. When they have these moments, they never go to that price ever again, at least in that cycle. So if you don't have sell levels, as we'll soon see, organized to take advantage of that narrative pump, and the narrative pumps over, chances are that the coin won't go back to even those prices again. The underlying thing here is it's all psychology. Basically, an area of the market pumps, you get brought in, being greedy, being someone who feels like if you don't get in, you're missing out, and you begin to buy the coins currently pumping. Because otherwise, how are the guys that are in Hedera H-bar for months now or years now going to make their money? They have to convince you price is going to keep going up, so you FOMO buy in. You are what's called exit liquidity, my friend. It's controlling what's up here, and that's greed. It's also being patient. But I want to talk today not just only about how that works, how the narrative system works and how you can overcome it to actually beat the cycle, but also want to talk about this. This, my dear friend, is the Altseason money flow chart. You've probably seen a variation of this that looks something like this, but I believe the one that I've created here is much more specific to this cycle because, as we've just seen with the Dino coins now, a narrative is formed here. Okay, money flows from Bitcoin, Ethereum, the large caps down, but narratives form when the whales behind the hidden curtains that you don't see decide to pump in a certain area of the market. Sometimes there's external factors, of course, like new administrations, NVIDIA earnings reports and all the rest of it. But then in these narratives, the large caps pump first. They move. Then we get to a specific point in the narrative pump here where we see the large caps begin to fade off a little bit, And like we're seeing here right now with these Web2 utility Dino coins, and then we have the next move up, which does occur. There's normally a sort of mid-narrative cooldown period, and this is where your mid to small caps pump next. So you can see there's cycles within cycles within cycles. And this is where we can fortitude ourselves to beat the market, to be one step ahead of the majority of people. And like I said moments ago, a lot of this has just simply got to do with not being greedy, buying the right coins and being patient. It's just being patient, guys. So I want to first of all talk to you briefly about what to expect, what this looks like. And I'm going to keep it quite brief, but ultimately, if you do want to learn more, the best thing you can do is either join a private community or request more below. Because we know that this is cycles and cycles and cycles, the first and most important cycle of all is that, first of all, that the market is going to be going up in the bull run, right? So we know there's a bull run coming, which is fantastic. Now, we're about here right now. We have all this magic to still wait. But how do we know when the second sort of type of cycle, the narrative cycles, if you will, how narratives go up and down of interest, is happening? How do we know that AI is coming next and then there's going to be real assets and so on? Well, truth be told, we don't actually know when the narratives will happen. There are indicators that begin to show, like mind share increasing and also relative strength beginning to increase, and that can give us early warning signs, but things can change. Anything could possibly happen. But the good news is that when the narrative pump is occurring, we will be able to know in real time, this is a narrative pump. All of these coins are going up together. We can look for very specific moments in this narrative pump to be careful of, and then possibly, as we'll soon see, reassess our exit levels for better, so go higher, or bring them lower depending on how our coin is reacting in that moment, okay? But as for looking retrospectively at how this all works, two scenarios typically play out for these coins. First of all, the scenario one, I think the more common one, where we have peak euphoria, so mass interest in that narrative at the given time, eventually dies down, and then there's typically a secondary pump, which never is as large as the main narrative pump or the peak euphoria moment for the coin, where typically it goes to either 50% or 75% of the peak euphoria pump. So for Render, for example, how I said before, it's known as an AI and DPIN coin. Well, maybe it pumps in the DPIN narrative a little bit, or it might be the Bitcoin pump, or maybe there's a huge update that comes out. From there, price just goes down and the coin just kind of stagnates. And the way the peak euphoria pump happens is the initial pump, it sort of comes down a little bit. And this is where we then, for the secondary pump, bring in the small cap, the micro cap, and the medium sized cap coins. Usually this first pump is mainly dominated by the large cap projects. Most of the time, the large caps do benefit from the overall growth of the peak euphoria stage. Now, scenario two is the same thing, just in reverse. Peak euphoria happens second, and some sort of secondary pump happens first. Prime example is Cardano. Again, like we saw over here, and in real time, we would have known, hey, this isn't the narrative pump because other coins known for this, they weren't popping off at the same time as well. So we can say, hey, this is okay. There's likely going to be a better pump coming because we haven't had the narrative pump just yet. Now, I can sit here all day and tell you guys this is how it's going to play out for each coin. And for the most part, each coin will play out either scenario one or scenario two. The only problem is it is a market and anything could happen. For example, we do know at least for the Dino coins, chances are we have scenario one already playing out, and chances are actually we're here right now, okay? We've had the initial massive pump. As we'll see, they've grown significantly, and right now we're pretty much waiting for that secondary pump to happen. So in the case of XRP, we can see here that it was a classic case of scenario one. We had that massive pump first, peak euphoria, the narrative pump, if you will. Then we had a sort of secondary pump when Bitcoin actually pumped, XRP followed. And then we had some general chop. You can see here payments, XRP and XLM, they both actually pumped at pretty much the same times. Like I said, to prove to you over here that its secondary pump kind of occurred with Bitcoin, we can see it happening over here. Interestingly as well, there was a sub-narrative pump, which was a layer one pump that did occur over here as well. You know, classic case of scenario two was Cardano. Its narrative pump actually was isolated here specifically, not just in layer one coins that Cardano and Algorand are known for, but these coins are known as sort of like the Dino coins, or essentially the Web2 utility coins of the last cycle. And I noticed this when I was looking into it for this video, because the Dino coins like ADA, Algorand, and Atom, or Cosmos, all had their highs within a couple weeks of each other here, maximum about a month. And the new layer one coins like Solana and AVAX actually had their all-time highs a few months off the Web2 Dino layer one coins. Does that mean this could happen again this cycle? Does that mean that layer one coins that are newer to this cycle pump maybe in a few more months from now. Maybe, possibly. Again, cycles often rhyme. They don't exactly repeat, so I don't know for certain, but it was an interesting thing to find. You can see that Bitcoin actually didn't quite pump the same time of Cardano. So again, you don't want to be waiting for Bitcoin's all-time high to happen because you're selling significantly lower than where you possibly could have. That's why it's so important to track narratives. Now, I can actually put the Cardano chart and XRP chart on top of each other to show you exactly what this looks like. Now, this was about 126 days apart. So the all-time highs happened months apart, almost half a year difference. I've ranked also each of these different cycles as well, the narrative rankings, because ultimately they are weighted differently. There's going to be a hell of a lot more attention in AI and DePIN, as well as RWA coins, than there ever will be, I believe, in IoT or supply chain coins. And that means, like this illustration here visualizes, that there's a higher chance for you to pick any old willy-nilly coin and do well in AI, DePIN, or RWAs, and you have to be much more specific buying the areas where less money is going to flow. So here's a great example of Hedera, Algorand, XRP, and XLMs all thrown into one as an index. In the last cycle, these coins shot up about 4.5x. They came down about 50% in that mid-cycle cooling off period, and they went up an extra over 2x soon after. That was their main narrative pump. Now, at the current times, they've pumped up about a 6x so far. Insane since the early parts of November. They're now down to 35%, which is normal. But again, I would expect them to probably turn around at this point. And again, go up, roughly speaking, another 2x from these levels here. What I'm not saying, though, is that, coins like Hedera are going to only 2x from here. This is the general scope of what I'm trying to talk to you about. Of course, these coins will have a lot more interest flow into them than just 2x from here. It does depend per project. If we compare those with the Web3 layer 1 coin, they've only moved up since the same time, 57%. So comparable, this just goes to show, looking into narratives, you don't really want to be buying the narratives that have just pumped like with these coins here. I mean, you can, but like I just showed you, they've already pumped up and gained so much market cap. How much more is in the tank? But looking at that into Web3 layer 1 coins in the same time span here, why would you want to go where it's actually pumped, where the gains are much more minute versus where it hasn't quite moved yet, where gains can be much more significant? Again, guys, it's just looking at narratives. If something's pumped, don't go FOMO in. Look for the next narrative to pump. We can have a look here as well, comparing the Dino coins like I just showed you versus the RWA coins. Okay, Dino coins are up about a 5x, whereas RWA coins, you can see here, these guys are only up from the lows in November, a 2.5x. Huge, okay? So imagine what RWA coins can do when they have their first leg up. I'm not trying to tell you to get out of the Dino coins, by the way. I'm just sort of saying for those of you who aren't already in there, don't get FOMO and buy in because they're moving. It's designed that way. It's designed to make you go, oh crap, everyone's talking about it. There's articles, YouTubers are making videos on it, blah, blah, blah. It's designed to get you to want to buy into them. RWA coins, probably even larger than these Dino coins for the growth. Actually, it will be much larger than Dino coins for growth this cycle. And they're only up at 2.5x. We have a look over here at the AI coins, the top 5 AI coins in the space. And they've only moved up since the November lows, 36%. This is like general market growth, guys. This is not even the beginning of the first massive leg up. And then again, that next leg up will come after an initial drop. Okay, so there's a lot of growth to still come for these coins. So this is what I'm saying. Ultimately, you don't want to be someone who's FOMO buying into the coins right now that are pumping up, okay, at these inflated prices. Again, do what you want. It's your own money. I don't really care. At the end of the day, I'm not the one that's going to suffer the consequences, right? But I would dare say, look at the coins or the narratives that haven't quite pumped yet. As I said, in comparison, RWA is a much, in my opinion, more explosive area of the market this cycle than any of these Web2 layer 1 coins. And look, they're ranked, I believe, a 6 out of 10, and yet they've done so well so far. So again, that's what I'm trying to say here. You don't want to be looking and buying up here. Look to buy the coins down here that have so much more growth potential. So what you need to know is that if you are in a coin and it's in its narrative pump, like the Web2 layer 1 coins are in right now, and you're nowhere near your exit levels, you got to be very careful. Ask yourself, am I looking for a further 50x from here to hit my first sell levels? You might be in the right coins at the right times in the best narratives, but ultimately, if you're setting such high expectations that cannot be hit, it looks good on paper, and that's just about it. You're not going to actually have any cash in your bank account at the end of the day. This is why I tell you all to set up sell levels in liquid zones using GGR zones and be realistic with your expectations on coins. I made a video last night talking about this, leave the link down below to it, talking about actually setting up sell levels here. Okay, in liquid zones being the GGR zones, the green, gray, and red zones. Don't want to be in the red zone, don't want to be in the gray zone. That means being as low as possible within the liquid zone or the green zone as you possibly can be. Now, I've mentioned this multiple times, but what I will finish on saying here, and just I want you to let this sink in. These are all businesses. They're all designed to get you to want to FOMO in and get that greed. There's whales worth billions individually that you've never heard of that are probably still living a secret life in their mum's basement. No problem with that, by the way. And they're here in groups, manipulating areas to get you to buy in because it's pumped. So all I can tell you is spend a little bit of time. Step one, find the right areas, the narratives, the niches that will do well. Find the coins in these areas that are strong coins, and then sitting and waiting. Your time will come, the attention will come. It will come. You just don't want to be the people that are coming into the attention. You want to be the ones sitting there waiting, okay? Don't go trying to catch your tail, guys. Be patient. So thank you all for watching. I wish you all the best for 2025, and that's why I'm here to make these videos for you, is to give you the best fighting chance to beat that statistic. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.